Hey gang, Hammerstill here. Alright, you can see I'm in an all tier 10 match. I am playing the US Navy destroyer Gearing. When I first unlocked Gearing and began playing it, I really struggled with the ship. I loved playing the Fletcher. Benson, I could take or leave the Benson, but when I got into the Fletcher, holy cow, I loved playing that ship. But, as much as I loved playing the Fletcher, the torpedo range on the Fletcher does add an extra layer of challenge because of all of the 12-kilometer radar that is now in the game, in addition to all of the additional aircraft that are in the game. So I, put my nose to the grindstone and I really started working on gearing. How do I make this ship work? Because the Fletcher is super maneuverable. If you don't have the ship, you've never played it. It's a very, very nimble ship. And the gearing isn't. it just isn't. I mean, compared to cruisers or battleships, it is. But as far as destroyers go, it's pretty big and a little bit ungainly. And it just, when you come out of the Fletcher and go into the gearing, just in terms of the handling characteristics, a little bit like waking up as a 14-year-old kid again. Suddenly, arms and legs are disproportionately long. It just feels weird. But at this point, I love playing the gearing. I really do. I think it's a fantastic ship. And as you can see with the blue circle around my ship on the minimap, you have the option of 16.5-kilometer torpedoes on this ship. And that just beats to death the Fletcher range. Because you never have to get in radar range to use these things. You often will, but having the option to plug gaps with torpedoes from long range is really nice. So, what am I doing here? You may have read the chat. I'm not crazy about spawning on this side as a DD because it's so easy to just get stuck behind this island, whether you spawn on the north side or the south side, and not really be in a position to contribute anything for most of the game.
Torpedoes to port.
Now, I expected torpedoes here.
Torpedoes astern.
And had no trouble at all avoiding them. The reason I ran out there and the reason I did that is that I wanted to be able to spot torpedoes for my team as well as put torpedoes in the water in an effort to try to land some damage on the enemy ships. I knew how long my torpedoes took to load, and if there's an enemy gearing on the other side, it was going to be roughly the same amount of time. So about the time my torpedoes came up, I figured their torpedoes came up. Now, yeah, Holland, different story. Harugamo, slightly different story. But that was the reasoning for the being ready to turn, or being really kind of already starting to turn. Looks like I'm going to get a lucky hit on Yamato. And the fact that he started to turn in when he did, there's some more torpedoes, tells me that it is very likely. Oh, that's nice. That there are two DDs out here screening, and there they are, Holland and Gearing. I could sit here and, try to duke it out, but no. Bad idea. When you're in this position and you're basically alone, look at the position of the guys that are quote-unquote supporting me right now. They're way back there. Now, on one hand, I can't really blame them. There are two Yamatos out there in addition to what else is hiding behind that island back there, and two destroyers with long-range torpedoes. The torpedoes on the Holland are super fast. I mean, there are a lot of threats. But with them that far back, there is zero reason for me to push up here and try and engage. I think probably if I had, I would have been dead. So I'll just exhort my teammates there to angle a different way and get more guns on these guys when I light them up. So why am I not moving forward? Why am I continuing to reverse? Because that's why. If I get spotted and my position is given away, I want to be able to continue to move in a straight line, more or less, away from the possible torpedo strike that I expect. Were you counting how many torpedoes went by earlier? Do you have any idea how much time I might have before the next volley of torpedoes? Sometimes you lose track in the middle of the game. So I'm just going to fall back, keep a narrow profile, try and avoid eating torpedoes. Now, I will say, and I think you'll see in a minute, even when you do all you can, sometimes it's not enough. Now you can see our Moskva's turned around, our Bourgogne's, he's headed the other way. We've got Yamato here. I'm not sure whether the destroyer that had to be gearing threw those out at him or me, but either way, he saw them in plenty of time to turn and make sure he didn't eat any of them. Now I expect I'm going to get pushed here by these. They got 2-to-1 odds, right? So there's another couple of volleys of torpedoes, and those are the fast ones. Now Holland's got a heel. Now I'm going to take just a moment, and I'm going to preemptively throw torpedoes out on Yamato. And I have to guess at what the Holland's going to do, but I want to get my tail into him. And then just do what I can with the rear guns, swing the front turrets around long enough to try and fire some, and hope that my teammates can finish him off. See, I'm taking a lot of damage. So what we have to do, we have to overwhelm his heel. And we did. So the bad guys are down 3 destroyers. I didn't sink any of them, but I helped. And I'm looking at those torpedoes that I threw out there for Yamato. I kind of expected that he would probably come around that corner and say, no, this is a bad idea, and slow down and stop. And that's why I threw him out where I did. That's 1. That's 2. And he's flooding.
Problem solved, sir.
Now he's stopped the flooding. But he's lost enough. Now he's in jeopardy of being sunk. You can see he's still taking damage. Now he's trying to hide. That's smart. And I'm still hoping my guys are going to push up. You know, the enemy team is down 3 ships. We're down none. I'm pretty beat up, but I'm still in the game. We know there's a gearing back here, but the Holland is gone, and I really need radar. We need some idea of what's going on behind that island. Now I know there's something there, of course, because you just saw shells come over. And our Bourgogne managed to finish off that Yamato that was hiding back there. So now the enemy team's down 4 ships. There's 0 reason for our guys to be sitting back. And I expect I'm going to probably run into the gearing here before too much longer. So I'm angling in rather than out. There's Venezia. Now I realize he's probably going to accelerate forward, but on the off chance that he decides to sit there long enough to fire guns a couple times or get torpedoes off, I went ahead and preemptively threw out some torpedoes into that smoke. There's very little chance it's going to hit anything, but worth a shot. Now you can see that we've got 3 Marceau and a Kremlin that have moved from A toward B. I'm positioning here to be able to throw torpedoes at the Yamato if he continues, but I decide ultimately that I don't want to do that. I don't even want to spend a whole lot of time positioning for that, because I have a lot of teammates on the other side of this torpedo trajectory, and I do not want to hit anybody on my team. Instead, I'll throw those out there in the hope that maybe, it's unlikely, especially now that I've just been spotted. Yami was, well, whoever put that plane up, I wasn't paying that close of attention. It was smart to put the plane up. Hey, is there a DD around here? So almost 0 chance that those torpedoes I just launched are going to do anything. Now I'm just trying to get sight in case anybody comes around that corner. Hindy's there. Alright, that's fine. I don't want to get detected. I could smoke up here, but instead I want to give the Hindi reason to stay where he's at once he does see me. I want to give him the hope that he can finish off this 7,600 hit point DD.
Capture that area.
And Hindy's a big ship. It does not slow down, stop, and go the other direction very quickly. So hey, here I am. Shoot at me. Just angle up a little bit, try and minimize any damage. Now you can see all my big friends have arrived.
We've destroyed an enemy cruiser.
And at this point, this game is in the bag. Half of the enemy team is gone. We've still got everybody. I can take some chances here. So I'm going to go ahead and get around this corner, and I'm going to try and get eyes on these guys. And that was a sincere comment I made there. Moskva was in big trouble down south, and he went dark, and he did a good job of staying alive, and he's in position now to be able to contribute. I just want to get my eyes on what's going on back here for the team. So I'm using you can see the small kind of greenish circle that's around my ship. That's my detection radius. So what I want to try and avoid is having an enemy ship within that circle. I don't want to be detected. So I have to move my ship in such a way here that by the time there's a clear line of sight between me and that enemy gearing, he is outside of my detection range. And I'm there, so I'm going to go ahead and move in. And I can see he's got his nose to me, so I don't have to worry about, at least for now, his torpedoes coming this way. There's Venezia back there, he's back there.
Our victory is inside.
Now he's angled to avoid my torpedoes, which is smart. But I threw the torpedoes out there anyway because the reload is pretty quick, and you just sometimes you get lucky. Okay, so we've lost a Zhao, and they've got 5 ships left. This game is well and truly over. Now I considered switching AP here and going after the Venezia, but one volley and he would just splatter me, so it just didn't seem worth it. Just trying to get eyes on where they're going for my team. Close but no cigar. Yeah, Smolensk takes down one of our Marceau. That gearing seems content to sit there. Meanwhile, you can see we've got some big guns pushing around that island. Just this side of the Bravo cap. And he's obviously aware of that as well, and he's saying, I'm getting out of here. Now, if he keeps going where he's going, I have very little chance of landing any of these torpedoes, but the game's almost over. I debate for a second or two, and I'm going to go ahead and throw some torps out there, just in case. You never know. I'm kind of guessing the line that I would take if I was trying to stay ahead of those guys that are pushing from